Today, top cabinet officials denying that they are the anonymous writer. Vice President Pence, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, OMB Director Mick Mulvaney, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, HUD Secretary Ben Carson, all issuing written denials. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo responding during a visit to India today.
If that piece is true, if it's accurate, if it's actually, I think they described it as a senior administration official, they should not well have chosen to take a disgruntled, deceptive, bad actor's word for anything and put it in their newspaper. It's sad more than anything else that our nation's come to where you have, if it is what it is purported to be, it is sad that you have someone who would make that choice.
And he said it was not he. Joining me now, NBC White House correspondent Kristen Welker, NBC Capitol Hill correspondent Casey Hunt, and Washington Post deputy editorial page editor Ruth Marcus. Kristen, first to you. The tumult of the last 24 hours, not even 24 hours, extraordinary. And the word volcanic says everything, doesn't it?
It says everything, Andrea. The fact that President Trump erupted with volcanic anger, according to multiple sources, trying to determine who exactly would have written this op-ed. And really the broader point here, which is this is a president who now doesn't know who he can trust. There is finger pointing within this administration. I spoke with a source familiar with the thinking inside the White House overnight who said this, Andrea, we're in this together and we're focused on the policy and the political travel that the president has. It is serious work that we're doing. So a sense that they are closing ranks here to some extent. But again, trying to figure out who this person is who would write this op-ed, and the fact, Andrea, that it echoes something in Bob Woodward's book, which is that there are top officials who, from their perspective, feel as though they need to protect the country from the president. You saw that in some of the excerpts from Woodward's book, Fear, in which former top aide Rob Porter, Gary Cohn would swipe papers from the president's desk to keep him from signing on to certain policies that they deemed dangerous. There is a broader concern within Trump world that this is going to undercut the president's ability to carry out his legislative agenda, that this is a crisis within this administration and thereby potentially for the country. And what does it mean for the midterms, Andrea? That's the other real concern within Republican circles. Could this not make it even more difficult for Republicans to hold on to the House? President Trump will be on the campaign trail a little bit later on today when he heads to Montana, Andrea.
And to that very point, Paul Ryan now speaking out, one of his regular news conferences, Casey Hunt. One of the issues here is what will be the impact on the Republican leaders who many people, including Republicans outside of the Hill, say have really been pretty much spineless against what the president has done, the dysfunction of this White House, the descriptions in Bob Woodward's book and our own reporting for many, many months. This is, you were there, Paul Ryan, just moments ago. I want to play it and ask you on the other side.
A person who works in the administration serves at the pleasure of the president. It's a person who obviously is living in dishonesty. That doesn't help the president. So if you're not interested in helping the president, you shouldn't work for the president.
That is a widely held view, correct, Casey?
It is a widely held view, Andrea, and the reality is that even though this op-ed feels like an order of magnitude larger than the many other crises that we have asked these members of Congress about as it regards this volatile president, this is a bigger deal. But quite frankly, the posture is basically the same, which is to say, and he elaborated a little bit later on in the press conference, he says this isn't my responsibility. My responsibility is to pass laws. My responsibility is to try and help the American people. He, of course, as he always does, pointed to the tax cuts, to low unemployment, et cetera. Now, obviously, that is not playing well in many corners of both his party, but and obviously also critics of the president. Paul Ryan is somebody who is leaving Washington, and you could sense that in his news conference as well. He had sort of a relaxed air about him, kind of smiling and joking about other questions, not this one in particular. But, you know, he's not going to be here in a couple of months. And I actually think that action says more than anything else.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.